Welcome back to Coinage Era, the home of deep coin stories and powerful histories. And today we enter the extraordinary world of the 1996 Canada Toonie, a coin that didn't just replace a banknote but quietly shifted an entire nation's monetary identity and left behind a legacy stronger than anyone expected. When Canada decided to retire the $2 paper bill and introduce a paper bill and introduce a paper bill and introduce a Jingfefu, completely new bimetallic coin, many people thought it was just another routine update. But what emerged in 1996 was something far bigger, a symbol of modern Canada, a blend of monarchy and wilderness, technology and tradition, efficiency and emotional identity all captured in one circular piece of metal. On the obverse, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II wasn't just a mandatory design or royal formality, it represented continuity, stretching across generations, a visual reminder that Canada carried a living connection to centuries of constitutional heritage. Her portrait was chosen carefully, engraved with dignity, maturity, and quiet authority, reflecting a monarch whose reign had already become one of the longest in Commonwealth history. On the reverse, the polar bear stood proudly against the imagined Arctic landscape, symbolizing not only the physical North but also the emotional and cultural North that Canadians carry inside them: resilience, strength, independence, and the ability to survive storms, literal or political. This design by artist Brenda Jones was chosen after careful selection, as many animals, symbols, and concepts were considered. The polar bear won because it represented an image that belonged entirely to Canada and no one else, a reminder of the vast icy regions where life continues against all odds. And of course, the coin structure, itself the iconic golden center fused with a silver outer ring, was a revolution. Canada had never produced a circulation coin like this before. The Royal Canadian Mint spent years experimenting with different alloys, bonding techniques, tolerances, and security features. Engineers tested dozens of methods to ensure that the core wouldn't loosen, the ring wouldn't warp, and the finished coin would survive decades of wear. They wanted the coin to look premium but also be practical, strong, durable, and instantly recognizable in a handful of pocket change. Yet despite all the testing and planning, the first year of release brought an unexpected surprise. Canadians began to report that the center of some Toonies was actually popping out, detaching from the ring like a metal button coming loose from a coat. Newspapers called them pop-out Toonies, and collectors immediately recognized these flawed pieces as future treasures. Even though the error was quickly corrected by improving the bonding pressure and metal alignment, those early mishaps added drama and mystique to the Toonie story. Instead of damaging the coin's reputation, the flaws made it famous. Kids looked for pop-outs. Adults joked that Canada's new money fell apart under pressure, but behind the humor, something deeper happened. Canadians bonded with the Toonie as though the coin had a personality of its own, bold, imperfect, unique, and proudly theirs. Economically, the introduction of the Toonie saved the government millions every year because paper bills wear out in just a couple of years, while coins can last decades, sometimes more than 20 years without needing replacement. But beyond cost, the Toonie quietly reshaped Canadian culture. It entered language, humor, music, everyday speech. The nickname Toonie, which followed naturally from the earlier loonie, wasn't chosen by the government, it was chosen by the people, and that made it even more meaningful. Within months, Canadians were saying things like "Got a Toonie?" "Bring a Toonie for the fundraiser," and Toonie Tuesday specials, embedding the coin into community life. It became a tool for schools, charities, church events, and social campaigns. Meanwhile, the polar bear itself became part of national symbolism. At first, it simply represented Arctic wildlife, but over time, as conversations about climate change grew, the bear also became a symbol of environmental fragility. What was once a figure of strength also became a reminder of melting ice caps, shifting ecosystems, and the urgency of protecting Canada's northern regions. The Toonie unintentionally carried an ecological message long before environmental activism became mainstream. The Queen's portrait also gained new emotional depth over the years. In 1996, it simply represented continuity, but after her passing in 2022, the coins bearing her likeness, including the first year, Toonie, became permanent reminders of a historic era that had ended. These coins stopped being just currency. They became keepsakes of a global figure whose reign had shaped decades of world history. Collectors today value the 1996 Toonie not just because it is the first of its kind, but because it captures the early period of the Queen's mature portrait and the origin story of a coin series that continues to evolve. Over the decades, the Toonie has been reimagined through countless commemorative designs, indigenous culture tributes, environmental themes, military anniversaries, and significant national events, but all those designs trace their ancestry back to the 1996 original. That first coin paved the way for creativity, diversity, and modern expression in Canadian currency. The Toonie also became a traveler, crossing the world in the wallets of tourists and immigrants, becoming a small piece of Canada that people carried everywhere they went. Its distinctive appearance made it memorable. If someone found one abroad, they instantly knew it was Canadian. Meanwhile, at home, kids grew up with the Toonie as their first understanding of money's shape and meaning. Many Canadians today still remember the first Toonie they held as children: the weight, the colors, the cool metallic feel, the bear in the center that looked ready to walk off the coin. Beyond nostalgia, the 1996 Toonie has become an investment piece. High-grade mint state examples, especially era varieties, can sell for significantly more than face value. Collectors examine ring alignment, metal tone, mint luster, and edge quality to differentiate common pieces from rare early strikes. The Toonie's first-year appeal has only grown stronger with time, and as more coins get worn down, high-quality survivors become even rarer. But more than monetary value, the 1996 Toonie carries emotional value, representing a time when Canada embraced modernity without letting go of its roots. It bridges past and present, blending the Queen's historical presence with the polar bear's wild Canadian spirit. It stands at the crossroads between old paper currency and new metallic innovation, between traditional monarchy and the rugged independence of the Arctic. Even today, nearly 3 decades later, the 1996 Toonie remains one of the most recognized, celebrated, and studied modern coins in North America. It is not just the first of its series. It is the foundation of an entire chapter of Canadian identity. It tells a story of engineering ambition, national pride, cultural transformation, and environmental awareness. It speaks of a country unafraid to innovate yet fiercely protective of its traditions. It symbolizes unity, resilience, and the quiet strength of a nation built on vast landscapes and diverse people. It is, in every sense, a coin that changed Canada's currency, Canada's culture, and Canada's story forever. And if you want to continue exploring legendary coins like this, stay connected with Coin Age Era.